Hey, Scott, Machine Gun Dad, welcome back to the channel. If you watch my AV-10 video, I bought a semi-automatic AV-10 to convert it into a submachine gun. Now, behind on the wall, you'll see several Macs. Well, they're transferable. They're worth a ton of money, and I don't want to shoot transferables if I can shoot post samples. So I thought to myself, I'll get an M-11 and convert it to a post sample. You have to register the lower to do that, so the gun is going to basically no longer going to be a functional M-11 Semi, unlike the AB-10 where I can register the bolt. So Oxysite had one. I bid on it because it came with this, and it has 3 high capacity magazines, has the original Cobra sling, has this nice little Galani International thing, and it has the original owner's manual. We're not going to do a close-up because there's a bajillion things on the M-11 semi-automatic pistol, so we're not going to do a close-up. But basically, I got the pistol. I don't think the pistol's ever been shot. It's in really, really nice shape. So I'm not going to turn it into a submachine gun, where I'm just going to leave it as a semi-automatic pistol. I may add a brace to it. Let's see how it shoots as a semi-automatic pistol. Click. Click. You just saw me and Nick shoot it. We did, what, 10 rounds out of each magazine. We used the MagTech cheapest 9mm we have.
Yep.
And give me your opinion.
I'm not the biggest fan of this little thing. The sights are not the greatest. It's a really tiny hole with a really big post in the front. I couldn't hit shit. I tried and tried and tried. I got, what, 3, 4 maybe. I do not like the grip on it. It's really blocky. It does not fit well in my hands. The trigger is both surprisingly light and very clunky at the same time. It's one of the triggers of all time. And one thing we noticed after shooting it, the set screw on this started to back out as we were shooting. So I went to go and put it down on the table and noticed that this was rotating off, so just throw some Loctite on that and hope to God it doesn't move again. But
Or a suppressor.
True.
Maybe we'll just try that.
Expensive tax stamp aside.
Not for me.
Well, not everybody's as lucky as you.
Get the license. Nick's right. Everything he said is spot on. This thing is blocky. I don't know if you noticed it. They put a rubber on the trigger, and the reason for that is there's so much trigger slap. The way the design is, when it hits the bolt and manually resets the trigger, it pushes the trigger forward. This isn't like a 1911 or even a Sig or a Beretta where you can hold the trigger to the back and then you let it out and you hear that reset. This manually resets the trigger, which slams that trigger forward. Which if you're a 1911 shooter where you're used to pulling your trigger back and holding it, it's going to smack the crap out of your finger. If you're like me where you're doing this, you don't notice it as much.
That explains a lot.
Nobody precise shoots these, so you shouldn't be pulling these in and waiting for the sear to reset and clicking them out. Now, that being said, it ran flawless.
Oh yeah, it ran really well. It's just the manual of arms on it. I do not like it.
Would I recommend you buy one of these? Yes. Despite next things. Why? Because you can factory put a suppressor on a pistol. It'll take a suppressor right from the factory if you get one with the threads. It is reliable. I think down the road there is a brace adapter that sits here. You take the pin out and you put the brace adapter here. I think that would make this gun way more serviceable. And I can adjust the sights. You just have to bend them a little bit. But you're right, that is awful hard. Well, see, if you were shooting a brace, it would be here rather than...
My biggest issue with it is that hole is so small with such a big front sight post.
Oh yeah, it fills it up.
It just completely disappears. You pretty much just point and hope you're shooting in the right direction.
And the other thing, and the reason I would buy this over, say, an Uzi or a Mac, an Uzi or a Tech 9, these work. Uzis work too, but they're 3 times the money. Tech 9s, you got a 40% of a chance of it working. More likely you're going to have to do what I did and send it to a Tech 9 expert who can actually make them work, and that means you're going to add a couple $100 to the price of the gun. This one right out of the box, brand new, fired. So yes, I would buy it. Now this, I don't know why anybody would need to put a compensator on a 9mm pistol that weighs 2.5–3 pounds, but they did. This is going into my what the fuck do I own it for box, because I would never have bought this because I got a suppressor I'll put on here. And that might be something interesting to look at down the road. How does it handle the subsonic ammunition with a suppressor? You know, when you're holding it different, is to make it, especially if I put a brace on it. So down the road, we're not going to abandon this project. We're going to see if we can make it more user-friendly. But as it is, Nick's right, it's not very much user-friendly. But I'd still buy it because it's a good starting platform. And it's, you know, granted they're $600 to $700, but oh my God, I mean that's not even 60 trips to McDonald's anymore. You know, that's not even a month of food at McDonald's, because McDonald's was $15–20. I mean, everything sounds so expensive because everything is so expensive, because our money's not worth anything. And I don't really want to get into a lecture on printing worthless dollars.
Yeah.
Like the Fed likes to do, is to keep the interest rates down.
Yield Federal Reserve.
Anyway, and the other thing is, if you get one of these, I don't know if you noticed this, there's not much to grab here.
No.
They do make a non-rotating charging handle that sits up higher that gives you something to grab, and that might be something to consider. Thanks for coming to the channel. Thanks for listening to us about the Mac 11. Nick probably gives it a no. I give it a yes, a conditional yes. If you want something that's kind of like 1980s looking, fine. That works.
Yeah, it is reliable,
but if it comes down to, I'm going to buy my first pistol, do I buy a carry pistol or do I buy one of these? No, you buy a freaking pistol you can use. This is an interesting range toy at best. Thanks again.